Brr. Boozhoo. Believe it or not, Gayabe Zogipon. It is still snowing. We Zogipon Dibekuk. It snowed last night. Or what is last night? I forget. But it's snowing. Welcome to springtime in Minnesota. It is still snowing on this obtuse halfway. And I'm halfway to sick of winter, I tell you that much. Wednesday, obtuse. Obtuse. But I just thought I'd come out, take a look at things. It's gotten cold. The world's froze up ever since that incident on the, whatever that's called, the Academy Awards, the Oscars, whatever it's called. Jada Pinkett Smith is not a joke, you guys. I've had it. Yes, she looks like Sinead O'Connor dipped in caramel sauce. Yes. She looks like G.I. Jane 2. Yes. Okay, fine. Fine, she's a bald weirdo. That doesn't make her a joke. And I'm not going to stand for it anymore. Today, on today's show, we're going to get to the bottom of this. You know? Yeah. But to start things off, this is Natasha singing Fix You by that band. When you try your best but you don't succeed, when you get what you want but not what you need, when you feel so tired but you can't sleep, stuck in reverse, and tears come streaming down your face, when you lose something you can't replace, when you love someone but it goes to waste. Could it be worse? Lights will guide you home and ignite your bones, and I will try to fix you. And high above or down below, when you're too in love to let it go, when you never try, you'll never know just what you're worth. Lights will guide you home and ignite your bones. I will try to fix you. A lot of nice guys out there. You know, it's not just Johnny Depp. I know everybody everybody's, oh gee, that poor Johnny Depp. And birds slapped him around. I heard of the fear of bruising. There's a lot of guys there who have to put up a lot of nonsense. Damage. Women who have bad guys. Women who have burned high school. Women who thought they were in love with somebody, had a baby with them, and then ran away. And you're there to pick up the pieces. You're like, hey honey, let's have a relationship. And she's got all this baggage. She won't trust you. She's self-destructive. She's got self-esteem issues, you know, and you gotta put up with a lot of stuff. Because you want to fix her. You know what she actually needs? Needs a man like me. You know, it's like how I fixed you, huh, honey? You never fixed me. You know, I saw you there crying around in the gutter. I was like, you know what? Fix it. You know what you never see? What's that? A really beautiful homeless girl. What do you mean? Because somebody's, you know, gonna fix that girl. If she's beautiful, she's not gonna just wander the streets. There'll be some nice guy going, hey man, hey woman, why don't you come home with me?
Your bones, and I will try to fix you.
Oh, what? Ladies and gentlemen, the lovely and the talented Natasha.
Get out of here.
And of course, the ghostly image of Michael Lyons in the background. Rockstar cartoon. BOOZHOO NANABOOZHOO. Hey, hello everyone. Welcome to the show. It's still snowing. Yeah, I know. What are we going to do, sweetie?
Nothing. What can you do? It's just snowing.
Zugipon. Geabe Zugipon. It is still snowing. You know, it's almost as cold as Will Smith's heart.
Nah.
You know, today I wanted to talk about the one thing everybody's missing in the whole discussion of between what happened at the Oscars. Jada Pinkett Smith is not a joke, you guys. Yes, I can't defend what Will Smith said or did. It's no excuse for hitting somebody. But Jada Pinkett Smith is a beautiful, strong, brave woman who's dealing with a very serious disease known as alopecia. Alopecia. And today I would like to take a little time to maybe educate the people on alopecia, its dangerous effects. And so maybe we can have a little more sympathy for Jada Pinkett Smith and maybe understand just why Will Smith would have been so angry. So this is Jada Pinkett Smith.
Hey, sweetie.
What?
That's not Jada Pinkett Smith.
Yeah, it is. So Jada Pinkett Smith has alopecia.
Sweetie, that's Chris Rock.
Who?
Chris Rock, the comedian.
That's Chris Rock?
Yeah, silly.
Oh, wow. He's a dead ringer for Jada Pinkett Smith, huh?
Well, they both have the same head.
Yeah, I thought this was Jada Pinkett Smith. Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure that's Chris Rock.
Wow. Oh, okay, I'll take your word for it. You know, gun to my head, I couldn't tell them apart. So Jada Pinkett Smith is got this disease. Makes her shave her hair or something. And so on the Oscars, you know, they're making fun of it and stuff.
Hey, sweetie.
Yeah?
You got a call on line 2.
Oh, really? On line 2? I wonder who that could be. Caller, welcome to the BOOZHOO NANABOOZHOO podcast. You're on the air.
You keep my wife's name out your mouth.
Pardon me?
You keep my wife's name out your mouth.
Is this Will Smith?
This is Will Smith. You better keep my wife's name out your mouth.
What's wrong with your voice?
I don't know, man. I just... You just keep my... I would slap you in the face if I was there.
Yeah, see, that's my point. You can't go slapping people, Will Smith.
You get out of your name out your mouth.
Okay, get rid of him, will you?
Okay, hanging up.
The longer he talks, the more he sounds like the Tasmanian devil.
Yeah, I noticed the Pope ends up like that.
Yeah, it's weird. So, not supposed to talk about Jada Pinkett Smith. All right. I don't want to get slapped. So, in other news...
You gonna drop it?
Yeah, man. Will Smith tells me to do something, I do it. Yes, sir. Just don't tell me to have to sit through one of your movies where you play the same character no matter what.
That's kind of true, huh?
Yeah. Oh, Will Smith. I'm an actor. I act like what I'm like in real life in every movie. Why is he an actor? He doesn't like play a part.
He can't like do a impression of somebody.
No. Even when he played like Muhammad Ali, it was just Will Smith being Muhammad Ali. Nobody went, "Oh, is that Muhammad Ali?" Not that I saw that movie or anything. I don't know if I've ever seen a Will Smith movie.
I've seen parts, like clips on YouTube.
Yeah, I watched clips of It's a Wonderful Life or whatever.
I don't think it's called that.
The one where the one of the many movies he had his son in before his son got so messed up. The Pursuit of Happiness or something like that. That looked pretty good. But again, I saw like 5 minutes of it. I saw clips of The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. That was pretty dumb, unfunny. I don't know. Was he in a movie about the apocalypse or something? Where the president jumps in a plane and goes after... I don't remember that movie well.
Was that Independence Day?
Yeah, Independence Day. I actually fell asleep in Independence Day.
How could you fall asleep in Independence Day? It was an action-packed movie.
I know, there was explosions and all that. I think I was, sleep deprived. I must have been really sleepy, but yeah, they had to wake me up in that stupid... It gets dark and cold. You know how cold the theaters always are?
Yeah, because air conditioning.
Yeah. They always make me go to sleep. And especially if I'm watching Will Smith acting. That's like better than NyQuil. Does Jada Pinkett Smith act too?
Yeah, I think she's been in movies.
Who's she play? Lex Luthor?
No.
Who's she play? Charlie Brown? I don't know. So let's see who's here. Hey, Gwen's here, sweetie.
No way.
Let's give Gwen a gold star.
Gold star for Gwen. She's the first in class. Good morning, Gwen.
Mino Giga Jabe. And let's give a silver star to John Redcorn, who wants to be beamed up. Can we beam up John Redcorn?
I'll have to scan for his coordinates. Nah. Silver star for John.
BOOZHOO, John. Shady Side Locust. Hoa. Happy landing. How you doing? Shady Side Locust is here. Can we get her the bronze star?
Bronze star for Shady Side Locust.
Mino Giga Jabe. And Jim Dunn with a Mino Giga Jabe. Good morning, Jim. You get nothing. You get nada. Zilch. Zero. Gawin Gegu. Wait, that's don't. What is nothing?
That would be Gawin. What is thing? Gegu. Gawin Gegu.
Yeah. Gawin Gegu. Then how do you say don't?
Gawin Gego.
Oh, right. Gawin Gego. Don't. Gawin Gegu. Nothing. No thing. Gegu means thing. What's your Ojibwe word for thing? I wonder what it was like when they were translating Ojibwe and making that old concise dictionary. Was there like a white guy who just kept asking questions to a fluent speaker? It's like, okay, how do you say thing? Okay, goo. How do you say no thing? Gawin ge goo. Don't. Gawin ge go. No, I was just... I'm glad they did it, but I'm glad I had nothing to do with that. Yeah, that would be a boring job. Totally boring job. So anyway, let's see who else is here. La Chapelle. That's Dave Chappelle. Dave the Chappelle. Actually, you know what? I mean, clearly, I'm not sure. I don't know if I believe in twins separated at birth. Because this is exactly what Jada Pinkett Smith looks like. Because there's a conspiracy out there that the real Dave Chappelle got Illuminati'd or something. And they replaced him with a clone or a lookalike or something. And this is an actor. Because there's the original Dave Chappelle. You know. And then all that nonsense went down with him running away to Africa or something. Going into hiding. And when he came back, you know, he no longer looked like this Dave Chappelle. He looked exactly like Jada Pinkett Smith. Yeah. You know. Conspiracy-minded people want to know, did Jada Pinkett Smith replace Dave Chappelle? Did the Illuminati get rid of Dave Chappelle and then had Jada Pinkett Smith get on? Because, you know, her hilarious comedian husband, Will Smith, could have helped her learn how to be a stand-up comedian or something. Is Will Smith a stand-up comedian too? All right. No, I don't think he is. Why did I think he was a comic? I don't know. He's black. Hey. Jada Pinkett Smith. I don't know. Captain Caveman. BOOZHOO, Captain Caveman's back, sweetie. Well, BOOZHOO, Captain Caveman. How nice to see you. So, and Dr. Evils, BOOZHOO. Dr. Evils is here with a cup of makere mashkiki wabu. Got that black cup of medicine water? Yep. How you doing, Dr. Evils? Something computerized rejected my comment with a red X. First time that ever happened to me. A red X? Yikes. Yeah, the YouTube's been acting weird lately. I think they're finally starting to take notice of us. We got that one copyright strike for showing the clip from the Jungle Book. Yep. They said they wouldn't show it, but it's still in our videos, so I don't know. And then, what was the other one? We got something else copyright slapped. Oh, it was the Elvis Presley thing. We did this really funny. I can't show it now because we'll thing, but where that actor is watching Elvis Presley video and he's crying. Oh yeah, that was so great. What's that guy's name? There we go. All right. That guy. Anyway. Captain Caveman. And Nancy Shumancy. Hey, Nancy Shumancy. BOOZHOO. Got some hearts from Nancy, sweetie. Well, me no giga shame, Nancy. How you doing? Nancy Schmancy. You can imagine that was probably like her nickname from her mean sisters. Oh, here comes Nancy Schmancy. What happened to your weekend episode? It disappeared. It did, huh? That was probably the one where we had... What's that guy's name? He was in... I can't remember any of his movies either. He was really buff, and then he got really skinny, and he was in like that cool HBO movie with Woody Harrelson, or that series I never saw. And he goes, all right. And he was in a movie about space or something. Interstellar. It was a clip from Interstellar, And that dude, all right. And he's watching an Elvis clip of Elvis singing, and he's just crying. And I was like, oh yeah, this is me watching Elvis. It was just kind of a dumb joke. But that was copyrighted. I can't be showing clips of Elvis. I can show clips of the real Elvis, who's still alive. But I can't show those old copyrighted shows from NBC or whatever. So, sorry, Nancy. They're shadow banning us. Better watch out. We're getting shadow banned. It's Big Brother censoring us. We want you, Big Brother. I know you think you're awful square, but you made everyone and you've been everywhere. Lord, I'd take an overdose if you knew what's going down. Someone to shame us, someone to follow. These guys have no idea what we're singing about. Aren't there the old Bowie fans out there? Does anybody remember Diamond Dogs, the album with the song Big Brother in 1984? Beware the savage yore of 1984. Come see, remember me. You played that all-night movie role. Give me one nugudge. It will rain later. It's not going to snow forever, you guys. They say, I guess. But it was full-blown winter out there. It's still snowing. But they tell us, oh, don't worry, it'll warm up and the snow will turn to rain. Oh, really, weatherman? Well, I got news for you, news guy. Geabe, Zugipon. It is still snowing. Geabe, still. It is as yet snowing. Still. But later, Bamapi. You can also say Bamapi. A lot of people, especially Canadians, when they say goodbye, they just go, Bamapi. Laters. I like that. Laters. Later, Gator. Catch you on the flip side. That's what my buddy Lenny used to always say. Oh, don't talk about Lenny. You get sad. I know. Yeah, he liked to use all the cliches, you know. Catch you on the flip side. Oh man, now I am going to get bummed out. You know what else he used to say? What? People who mind don't matter. And the people who matter, they don't mind. Don't get bummed out in a live stream. I'm trying not to. Sometimes I get mood swings when the weather's like this. You guys ever get like that? Snow will come and suddenly you remember something kind of sad. Lenny Stock, rest in peace. My high school buddy who started his journey about a year ago or so. It's probably a little longer than that now. Probably 2 years. But I remember when it would snow, Lenny loved to drive in snow. He didn't care. You know, in his obituary, they said, oh yeah, Lenny, he hated the winters. And I was like, what, are you kidding me? Lenny used to drive. He was, he was pretty mechanical. Like, he was a pretty good carpenter and could do a lot of fix-up stuff. He wasn't a redneck, but he had redneck skills. And he would always drive around these... this was back in the 80s, by the way. My buddy Lenny and I, when we were like 16. We had these big Chevy Impalas. And on the first snow, he'd be like, come on, man, let's go. We'd jump in his Chevy just to spin donuts and that. Hey! No, isn't she a realist? Yep. She wants to make you feel better. Thank you, Surrealist. $200. That's insane. I know. All right, I'm cheering up now. Thank you very much. We really appreciate your super chat and your generosity. So Lenny, I was getting kind of I could feel a welt in my throat looking at the snow and then remembering Lenny. It's hard. You want to take a call? Not really. It might make you, not so sad. Is there somebody funny? Yeah. All right. What line? Line 2. Hello, caller. Welcome to the BOOZHOO NANABOOZHOO podcast. You're on the air. Hee hee hee. Hey, Michael Jackson. Hey there, NANABOOZHOO. Don't be sad. I'm not sad. I just remembered somebody and it kind of brought me down. No, it's that's ignorant. Why are you crying? I'm not crying. Hee hee. All right, get it together. I got to be starting something. Got to be starting something. Don't you get the beat. Hee hee. Okay, what's going on, Michael? I just wanted to call you up and cheer you up. Yeah, you're cheering me up. And don't be sad. That's not bad. It's not bad? No, I died, remember? Oh, that's right, you're dead. Yeah, you go to heaven. It's wonderful. I get to dance. Hee hee. Shamoa. So you actually made it to heaven, huh? Of course, silly. I'm up here dancing with Elvis Presley. Oh, you're dancing with Elvis? I didn't think he was dead. No, that's a conspiracy, silly. Oh, that's a conspiracy? Well, yeah, I get kind of bummed out something, thinking about dead people. I shouldn't talk about it. Well, what else are you going to do? Teach Ojibwe, tell a story. You want to talk about Michael Jackson? No. Hey, Michael, did you ever slap anybody at the Oscars? No, that's ignorant. I went to the award show with my monkey, Bubbles. That's right. You had a chimpanzee called Bubbles that you took to, was it the Grammys? Yeah, I went to the Grammys, of course. There's nothing, that's just pure love. There's no greater love than I'm just a child at heart. You're just a child at heart. I don't know many children who would have brought a chimpanzee to an award show. No, that's ignorant. They just can't afford it. Oh, right. So, you're okay with being dead? Yeah, it's fine. It's just your body who dies. Your spirit lives on forever and ever. Does it really? Okay, I don't know. I'm not in heaven. You're not in heaven. No, I can't talk about this. Just give me one call. Okay, I'm not going to go down this road. What else can I do for you besides talking about heaven and hell and children? There's so many taboo subjects with Michael that you just don't want to talk about. Why don't you ask him about his music? Okay. Hey, Michael, since you're on the show, can I ask you some questions about your songs? Oh, of course. You can ask me anything. What is that song PYT about? That's a pretty young thing. PYT, pretty young thing. Yeah. Do you think it was wise for you to sing about such certain things? No, that's ignorant. Okay. I don't have anything for Michael. Okay. Michael, I'm going to let you go, okay? I'm going to talk about something else. No, how do you say goodbye in Ojibwe? We don't say goodbye. We say, I'll see you again. Gigawabamin. Min. Minawa. Gigawabamin. Minawa. Yeah, you too, buddy. Michael Jackson. He's the king of pop. The king of pop himself. You know what that sound is? The snowplow? Yep. It's March 30th, and that was the snowplow that just went by outside. Wow. I mean, thank you, snowplow guys. Not that I need it. Car's got a flat tire. Yeah. So, dead battery and now a flat tire. Yeah, but Shirilis gave us money now. We can get the car going again. Yeah, okay. We're going to use a super chat, get the pickup running again. Gonna have to call somebody or buy a tire inflator. Tire inflator? Is that what it's called? Pretty sure it's not called that. You know, it's got like a mechanics, you know, but that machine you plug in and it goes grrr, and then one of your real men friends airs up your flat tire. This has happened to me before. I just let my tires go flat. Why can't I like pay attention to basic car maintenance? I don't know. Because you're artsy fartsy? I think so. I spend all my time doing little artsy fartsy projects, and I never get around to doing like the regular guy stuff. You know, like jump starting the car and putting air in the tire before it goes flat. I just let it sit out there in a parking lot until the tire was completely flat. Now it's a thing. I'm probably going to need to go somewhere, and then we're like, oh, crap. Got a job ahead of me. Hey, Cousin Missy's here. Hey, Missy. What's going on, Missy? It was fun hanging out with her yesterday, huh? Yeah, she's always a hoot. A hoot. I learned something about women yesterday. What's that? They have we went to the mall and Missy had her eyebrows, what was the term? Not plucked. Went to a special store they have just for this. Even in Bemidji, I was shocked. Where the lady takes a string and she puts one piece of the string in her mouth and then she sews the other part to Missy's face, to her eyebrow. Wham bam, 10 minutes later, Missy's got perfect eyebrows. John Redcorn goes, removed. Yeah, removed. But that's not the word. Missy, threaded. Thank you. She had her eyebrows threaded. I thought, what? They're going to thread some eyebrows in? So, no. I'm having my eyebrows threaded. It's threading. John being a guy. Removed? Shaved off? I don't know what women do. I'm John Redcorn. Thank you, Nancy. Nancy knew what it was right away. Women do so many weird things. They get their eyebrows threaded, get their nails painted. That's like a $60 thing. Oh, I know. Sometimes you got to get your toenails done too, and that's not cheap. Yeah, toenails decorated. That would never occur to a guy. If there was no such thing as women, a guy would never just one day go, you know what? I think I need to color my toenails something bright and vibrant. That'll make me more handsome. You know? I heard once that Native Americans invented nail polish. Really? Yeah, they said that a woman who had red fingernails, people would assume her husband was a good hunter. A good hunter? Why? Well, because women were the ones to clean the hides and do all that. Yeah. And so the blood would stain your nails. It would stain your nails. And so a woman with a good hunter husband would have red nails. Yeah, it became like a status symbol. Oh, that's cool. Kind of. Actually, it's kind of gross when you think about it. Yeah, that they're just trying to make it look like they have blood on their hands. Yeah. At the end of the day, red nails is trying to approximate the beauty of a woman with bloody nails, because she'd be the envy of the rest of the tribe. Oh, look at that lady. Her husband must be such a good hunter. Look at her nails. They're covered in blood. John says, hair did. She got her hair did. Yeah, women do a whole bunch of stuff with their hair, too. We used to be like that. What do you mean? Indian men. Before we got colonized and they cut off our hair in boarding school and that, Indian men would be as much into their hair as the women were. You look at those old paintings and stuff and the old photographs of Indian guys posing. It's kind of like in Dances with the Wolves. Yeah. Those guys, they really went through a lot of effort to get the hairstyles right. Because the Dakota guys, they had long hair, but they had hairstyles. They would tie it up. There's a lot of different designs, put feathers in their hair. And Indian people were also very clean. You know, our water was fine. It wasn't like England, where it was all, you know. I mean, I don't know where Indian people went to the bathroom. They probably did go in a river. But we have so much water, it didn't matter. So bathing was a common daily thing in the summers for Indian people, for Ojibways. And then in the winters, our sweat lodges, they weren't just for ceremonies and stuff. A sweat lodge is a great way to get clean in the winter. You go in there, super hot rocks, put a bunch of water on it, and the room fills up with steam, and you just wipe off all the gunk. You towel off. It's like a sauna. In fact, here's a little Ojibwe's history. I've probably told before, but it's kind of an interesting story. Just because I don't want to get all bummed out on dead friends from the 80s. Yeah. I'm not going to apologize, you guys, because I know who you are. The BOOZHOO crew knows sometimes. Early in the morning, I can get emotional. Just for no reason. I'm probably bipolar. Yeah. Bipolar. Not bisexual. All right. I'm bipolar. I'm not a bipolar bear. I'm just, you know, I'm an artist. Okay, here, 2 things I wanted to say. I heard David Bowie once said, back in the Ziggy Stardust days, he was famous for crying at the drop of a hat. Stuff would just, he couldn't stop, you know. He was a little unbalanced anyway because of his diet and all the drugs and late nights and stuff. But one of the guys in the band were laughing at him. And he goes, look, a lot of artists cry easily. It's nothing to be ashamed of. And I remember hearing that when I was like a 16-year-old, that David Bowie said, don't be ashamed if you cry. I mean, I know that we're Native Americans and we're all like, oh, we got to be stoic. Make sure you don't let your emotions rule you. You know, don't be like this, where you can't control your emotions. Don't just be sulking around like that. But it's okay to shed a tear once in a while. Because if you don't, then you'll explode at inappropriate times like the Academy Awards. Yeah. So I remember hearing that from David Bowie, and I went, okay, I'm kind of like that too. Maybe that's just an artist thing. Or we'll cry. You know, we can't be awesome at everything, you guys. Yeah, I can sing and play the guitar. I'm the envy of everybody, I know. But, you know, sometimes my heart's on my sleeve. So that's what that's about. But then what was I going to say? You were going to talk about something else. Oh, the sweat lodge. Yeah. So back in the days of the grandfathers, when I was a little bit younger, I don't know, it's probably my 30s by this point. I went on a sweat lodge ceremony. I went on a sweat is the way we talk about it around here. Oh, I went on a sweat. Hey, you gonna go sweat? Indian people know what that means. To non-Indian people, it's like, what? You're gonna go perspire somewhere? But they were having a sweat lodge ceremony up in Inger, small community in northern Minnesota, on a Leech Lake Indian reservation. And I went up there with the Goggle Eye boys. There was George. There were 3 Goggle Eyes in that family. And the way George, the middle one, there was Senior, the George that we were close with, and then his son, George, who later on became the chairman of Leech Lake. We were going up there to sweat with George the middle. And, and I asked George once, I go, how do you guys keep it straight with this 3 Georges in your family? And he goes, well, there's George Senior, that's my dad. You'll meet him tonight. This 80-plus-year-old Ojibwe guy. And then there's George Jr., and he's the chairman. And then the other one's known as Handsome George. And I had to crack up. Nah. Yeah. I think he called himself Handsome George. But anyway, so Handsome George, Handsome and us, we go up there. And we go on a sweat with this old guy, fluent Ojibwe speaker, George Sr. And my brother had warned me, he goes, you know, when you meet George Sr., the elder, he's real old style. He's like one of those Indians, they don't necessarily answer back right away. You know how like young people and dominant cultural people, they hate silence. It's like dead air. People get very uncomfortable when there's silence in the room. But old style Indian guys, they're cool with that. They don't mind just sitting in silence together. In fact, people used to say that Sitting Bull, the Sioux chief, got his name because he would just sit and ruminate before he'd respond to anything. He was famous for not just snapping off and saying whatever. You would never see Sitting Bull yelling from the table, "Keep my wife's name out of your mouth." You know, that's not our way. So George Sr. was that way. So I went up there, went on the sweat, everything's good. After the sweat, we have a big feast. And by this time, it's the middle of the night. It's like 2 a.m. We went in at sundown, and then it took hours, and then big old feast in the middle of the night, eating chicken and wild rice and mashed potatoes. This is great. But I'm sitting in the living room there with George, and I go, "Hey, George, what's up with these sweat lodges?" I was reading a book, because, you know, I'm a young college boy. And it said the Ojibwe sweats were really little. They could only fit 3 people. And now every sweat I see is a big old sweat like you see the Sioux people sweating in. Did we steal our sweats from the Sioux people? You know, when we came here and stole their land? You know? And he goes, "No, no." And then he just stared off. I was like, is he going to answer? I could tell that, you know, I was kind of caught in a question, waiting for the answer. And I remember my brother saying, "Don't be so quick to just run off. You might be thinking or whatever." So I sat and waited. And it seemed like forever. I almost forgot about the question. And then just out of nowhere, he goes, "Nah. Everybody says the Ojibwe stole the Sioux sweat lodge. We got it from the Finlander Chimokaman." No, he called them Finlander Anishinaabe. That's when I realized that Anishinaabe doesn't mean Indian. It means people. And he spoke kind of broken Ojibwe English anyway. But he said the Finlander people, the Finlander Anishinaabe, brought over their saunas. And we were like, "Oh wow, look at the size of their sweats. Let's try that out." And then we started sweating like a Finlander. You know, people don't like to give credit to non-Indians for such a huge influence on our cultural and spiritual practices. But the Finlanders were the ones who gave the Ojibwe essentially what is the sweat lodge today. They improved upon our little sweats, whatever. But don't know why I'm telling that story now. Don't know much about his story. Let me turn up the fire. There we go. Make it a little cozier in here since it's snowing still. Gayabe. Do you want to get up here? Sure. All right, I'm going to let Natasha get up here and talk for a little while. And all I can say to Will Smith, you know, I know you called in and you were all mad at me for making fun of your wife, Dave Chappelle lookalike. But I can't make you love me if you don't. Turn down the light. Turn down the bed. Turn down these voices inside my head. Lay down with me. Tell me no lies. Just hold me closely. Don't patronize. 'Cause I can't make you love me if you don't. You can't make your heart feel something it won't. Here in the dark, these final hours, I will lay down my heart. I feel the power that you won't. No, you won't. 'Cause I can't make you love me if you don't. If you don't. I'll close my eyes, then I won't see the love you don't feel when you're holding me. Morning will come, I'll do what's right. Just give me that, and I'll give up the fight. 'Cause I can't make you love me if you don't. You can't make your heart feel something it won't. Here in the dark, in these final hours, I will lay down my heart. And I feel the power that you won't. No, you won't. 'Cause I can't make you love me if you don't. If you don't. La 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 la. Oh, you can't make your heart feel something it won't. Have you ever loved somebody and love you back? Yeah. Who was that? Jada Pinkett Smith. Nobody loves Jada Pinkett Smith. Come on. Hey everybody, BOOZHOO, Natasha Nunduzhanakaz. Natasha is my name. And the weather outside is frightful, but the fire is so delightful. And since Paul Stanley's with us, hey Natasha, how's it going? Pretty good, how are you? I'm doing great. I just want to rock and roll all night and party every day. Yeah, okay. Ladies and gentlemen, Paul Stanley. Hey, everybody. But, yeah. So, you can't make your heart feel something it won't. There's something messed up about when you love somebody who doesn't love you back. I mean, you gotta have pretty crappy self-esteem. Yeah, you probably do, but I think some of us do. What can you do?
You can make your heart feel. I have heard this, though, I think was pretty wise. Attraction can't be negotiated. You either into somebody or you're not. You can't be talked into just going, well, you know, he's a nice guy. You know, he's got good values and a good job. If there's got to be physical attraction that's beyond, it's not of your mind. It's of your soul sometimes. It's emotional. Doggone it, I should have pulled up that medicine wheel again. I'm just going to look for it, sweetie.
Are you sure you want to do that?
Because it's such a waste of time.
Yeah.
I could play this Bugs video.
Bugs? Is that it?
Oh, that's the cat bug. I thought it was the Bugs Bunny one. It's just a Bagheera. Yeah, we don't need to play that. Nah, I'm not going to get into a hole. One of these days, I don't know how we're going to do this. Every once in a while I get an idea for a show where I think, you know what, I should just talk about love and relationships, gear it towards kids, bring out the medicine wheel. I can talk about how, you know, love is mental, physical, spiritual, emotional. And how you shouldn't toy around with, you know, just the one part or it will damage, you know. There's a whole, like, kind of, not a lecture, but something you'd want your auntie to tell the little kids. But I don't really feel like I can just jump into it in the live stream here.
Well, what do you want to talk about?
Ojibwe word of the day.
Nobody cares about the Ojibwe word of the day.
Yeah, they do. Giabi Zugipon. It is still snowing, though the weather outside is frightful. Zugipon. It is still snowing. Giabi. What else can I say about this?
How about the vowels?
Oh, yeah. So, in Ojibwe, the letter E sounds like A, as in the word Ojibwe. We don't say Ojibwe, that'd just be silly. Gay is Gey. I'm not going to make a joke about that either.
Nope.
You don't need to be teaching it to kindergartners, but that's all I'm saying. Abi. So two A's sound like as in father. One A. So, you know, since the E already took the A sound, one A sounds like like uh-oh, or whatever. Gayab. And then Zugipon. Zoo is just like English with two O's, like moon, zoo. Ge. And then I always say pun. I know it's supposed to be pone, like Ojibwe. But the oldest Ojibwe speaker I ever knew, Benny Tontz, would always pronounce it Zugipon. So I think, at least in his dialect, O's are kind of an sound. I wonder if he said Ojibwe or something. Probably did. Anyway, Zugipon. It is still snowing. But later on it'll rain. Give me one, nugudge. Or you could say, give me one, bamapi. We means the future. It will, or it's going to, either way. Give me one means it is raining. So give me one is it will rain. And, or it will be raining. The nagaj means later. Gigawabamin nagaj. Some people say that too, huh?
Gigawabamin nagaj.
John Redcord. Oh, Betty. You knew Betty Tontz? I'm still not sure who you are, John. We're probably friends in real life. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, Betty was everybody's favorite elder. Betty was grandpa to us all. We used to call them gawitas on the drum. Or you did. I was never on the drum with Benny because I'm just a lady. We were talking about that yesterday. The Dewey gun. Ladies, don't you sit at the drum. Hey, wait, hey, wait. Ladies, don't you sit at the drum. It's not done in the old Ojibwe. As I sit at the drum and sing that. I'm a culture cop.
Yeah.
A culture cop. Culture cops are the Indian people who walk around and correct everybody. Hey, you're not supposed to be doing that. The other night, there was a young lady outside, just for a long, obnoxious time, whistling in the dark. I thought she was whistling like for a dog, maybe. And then I started thinking, is she on drugs and just being crazy? But it was well after dark. And here's this young dummy whistling. And, you know, I'm not the most traditional or spiritual or, you know, my feet are planted firmly on the ground. I'm not into conspiracy theories. I'm not... Okay, yes, I believe in Bigfoot. Yes, I'm a flat earther. Yes, I think Elvis Presley's still alive. Otherwise, I'm pretty, you know, regular thinking person. But, hearing that girl whistling at night, it was like my early teachings as on a Anishinaabe. In the old style Indian way, they say never whistle at night. Unless, I mean, you can, I guess, if you want to call in the spirits. They have special ceremonial whistles called an eagle whistle. And I guess I always thought it was made out of an eagle bone. Is that nonsense?
I don't know what it's made out of. I think it's a bone, though.
Is it that they shoot an eagle and then they made one of his bones into a whistle? That sounds pretty brutal.
Yeah, I don't know what they did.
Anyway, an eagle whistle is a whistle you use at a ceremony, probably not even at a sweat lodge necessarily, but like a shaking tent or one of these hardcore Medewi wind ceremonies where you want to call in spirits. But just for my regular Monday night goofing around at home, I didn't necessarily want, and I didn't think this girl knew what she was doing, but it made me very uncomfortable. I thought about going outside and slapping her up. I thought about going outside and pulling a Will Smith.
Yeah.
You know, hey, quit whistling, dummy. Don't you know what that is? But maybe she doesn't believe in ghosts. Daniel the Sage Black, I've got an eagle whistle. Is that right? Yeah. Well, unless you want, for some reason, to call in spirits of who knows where, that's my whole thing with it. People are like, oh, it's great. We went on a sweat, saw some spirits. I'm like, were they good spirits, I hope? Because, I don't know. It's like playing with a Ouija board. You don't know who's there. Could be some big demon. You know, could be that spirit that from the Exorcist girl.
Yeah, the split pea soup spirit.
Yeah, exactly. So be careful with that thing, Daniel. You're playing with a loaded gun. The eagle whistle. But hi, BOOZHOO, by the way. To withdraw the comment or rephrase the comment after a computerized unjustified red X, that is the question. Yeah. What'd you try to say that Big Brother didn't want you to say, Shady Side? Okay, hey, Indians, says Grassroots. BOOZHOO, Grassroots, welcome back. Sweetie, Grassroots is here.
Okay, BOOZHOO, Grassroots.
Hi. La-di-da, do-do-do. Hoka, hey, hey, baby, baby. I think I'm going to talk about the books and call it a show.
Okay.
Hey, everyone. If you'd like to support the show, you can click the links below to PayPal, Patreon, or GoFundMe. Michael Lyons has books for sale. on Amazon.com, like an English Ojibwe coloring book, Mixed Blood, Little Cutie, a teddy bear's vision quest, and BOOZHOO NANABOOZHOO. Hello, squirrel. Hello, red squirrel. Remember that when you were illustrating this book, Michael?
Yeah, I remember it. How do you remember it? You weren't even born yet.
Yes, I was. I was in your mind. When Michael illustrated this book, he did the whole book, painted the squirrel gray, and then he looked closer and it was like, wait a second, gray squirrel's Misajinamu. A Jinamu itself is like a red squirrel, so he had to go back and color in the squirrel red. I think that's priceless. No. All right, do you want to add anything?
No, that's pretty good.
All right, miigwech bizindawi egg. Thank you so much for listening. Dash miigwech ganawabi egg. Thank you for watching our podcast with a theme song that is muted. There it is. Thank you for watching BOOZHOO NANABOOZHOO, the podcast about Ojibwe language and culture. I am Natasha. This over here is NANABOOZHOO.
Okay, miigwech.
This is Michael Lyons, the big crybaby.
Hey, thanks a lot, you guys. We'll see you tomorrow.
And I will see you again. Gigawaba min minoa. Oh. I didn't even go out to pray.
Because it's 10 degrees and a blizzard.
Oh, right. You want to teleport me?
You want to go outside?
No.
Want to go to the kitchen?
Yeah, I'll make some coffee.
All right.
See you tomorrow.
1 to teleport.
Make it so, number 1. Nah.